Welcome back to Tar Heel Smoke. My name's Will, and today we're making holiday ribs. All right, so I just want to bring y'all outside and show you me lighting this charcoal a little bit, because it's been wet outside. It's been raining, and I've got some pretty wet wood. So I'll show you up here. So I've got some wood up here, and all my other wood's been sitting out in the rain. So I just want to show you that normally I wouldn't put this much charcoal in, but since my wood's pretty wet, I'm gonna go ahead and light this charcoal with some lighter fluid, and maybe I'm not gonna light this with some lighter fluid. There we go. Okay, so I got it lit now. I just want to add some more coals because that wood is not gonna want to burn, or it's not really gonna want to light up too quick. But we just need a bigger coal bed, so I just want to show you all that. And then here at the start of the cook, I'm gonna put some pretty big pieces on. Try and get a little bit heavier smoke on there to start with, because that's really when we're going to build our color for those ribs. So we'll throw some big chunks on like that. Yeah, and then we'll go from there. All right, so let's get these ribs seasoned up here. I'm going to just talk a little bit about the ribs themselves, and then you can kind of, you can do whatever kind of flavor stuff you want to do here, but I really think it's best to keep it simple. Keep it simple. So these are some St. Louis cut spare ribs, and I got them from HEB, which is our local grocery store down here in Texas, and they were only like $10, already trimmed up. All you got to do is cut this little flap off the back, and you're good to go. So I was like, let me just get those rather than having to trim them all the way up. And I feel like, especially around the holidays, it's a good idea. Do yourself a favor, any stuff like that. Just makes your life a little bit easier. I think it's worth, I'm not going to grind these up into sausage, I'm not going to do that. So, you see this little flap back here? I'm kind of just getting a little bit of that liquid dried off, and then anything hanging off, I run my hand around the sides and stuff and try and see if there's anything, because it does go through a bandsaw, so sometimes little shards of bone or something will be there. Those are some good dogs. Look at those dogs. I'm trying to get a little taste. Those are some good dogs. So anyways, I think that these spare ribs are really good for around Christmas or Thanksgiving, any of that time, because pork really, you can do a lot with it. It's kind of a blank canvas. It takes on whatever flavor you give it really well, So I kind of start here with just salt and pepper, which I feel like a lot of people, again, not going to be off-put by. And I'll score the back here. So I go pepper first, semi-light layer of pepper on the back, and then salt. And I'm not too worried about how heavy I'm going to go with the salt here, because these are going to be, they're going to get some pepper jelly later on. So since they're going to get some pepper jelly, it was just a little bit spicier. I'm not too worried about how much salt, because the salt and the pepper jelly, the spicy flavor kind of cancel themselves out a little bit. So I go pretty heavy on the salt here. Yeah, sprinkle it on. Keep it simple, because I think I really like to put the flavor with the sauce on ribs. So this also, when you keep it simple like this, you get a little bit better color on the smoker. So let's take them out. All right, so at this point we don't have any no wood on there. It's all charcoal, just getting hot now. So we're gonna go ahead and throw these ribs on. You can kind of see this part is a little bit thicker. So typically I throw that on an offset towards the wall, towards the back wall, opposite side of where the door opens from. And then this one is going to be other way around, still the thick side towards the wall. And I don't want to get it back here towards the exchange, because there's a little bit of airflow right there, a little draft. We might use that later to our advantage, but for right now, just to get smoke on it, we're just going to do that. But let's shut this down, and I'll bring y'all over here. And let's take a look down here. We're going to throw some wood on. So we've got our coals burnt down a little bit better now. This should eventually catch. It's going to smoke quite a bit here for a little while. But I want to kind of get like the coal bed in the middle, and I want that thick log right there on the side so I can prop this one up over top of the coals. So I kind of want it like something like this way right here, with the thicker side out this way is what I like. Let's get it like this right here. And then we're just going to let that roll for a little bit and see what we get. The coal fell out right there. But yeah, we're just going to let it smoke pretty low for probably an hour or so. And then after that, we're probably going to run it clean. We get it hot. But for now, we're shooting for probably something like 150, 175 for temps. If we get up to 200, it's fine. No big deal. But we'll just check back in a little bit. So as I said earlier, I think we want to get our flavor from the sauce. So we're going to make some sauce. So basically what we got here is a little pot. We just melted down some butter. I had like 6 tablespoons because I just had some left over from my wife making some cookies over there. So I just threw that in a pot. And we threw some pepper jelly. I did like a half of this little jar from Trader Joe's. And then I threw some cranberry sauce, which we had left over from Thanksgiving. Just throw that in there, like a half a can. And then a little Still Austin rye, just a little bit of Christmassy flavor. I feel like rye goes pretty well rather than bourbon for this. And just going to try and get it all kind of a little bit more of the same texture because those jellies just need to melt down a little bit. Trying to keep it on a little bit lower heat. This is not too high heat, medium low. Medium low is good. And just stirring it around. I ended up adding a little bit of cayenne to this just because the pepper jelly wasn't too spicy. A little cayenne and a little cinnamon later on. I didn't put it in here. But it gets this nice red color, which I really like on ribs. And yeah, I mean, you can add anything you want in here. Any Christmas spices you want to add, peppercorns, star anise, anything. But I think this was pretty good. I tasted it and it was like nice and tangy. And then I added just a little bit of apple cider vinegar here to thin it out at the end. All right, so we've been cooking for a couple hours now, and I think let's take a look. All right, so just looking here, pretty nice color, and that pepper is stuck now. So I think what we want to do is go ahead and flip these over because we left that membrane on, but we scored it. So I think it's a good time to go ahead and flip them over. Get a little color on this backside. Let's see. That one's already actually got pretty good color on it, but yeah, I think we need to get some more color right here on this, and then we'll let it ride for maybe like an hour or so, and then we'll check the temperature, see where we're at, but probably another hour, hour and a half on this side, and then we can wrap it up. Alrighty, so it is time to check on these ribs. Let's see what we got. Looking pretty good, looking pretty good. Let's get a little temp reading on these. Let's see what we see. 154, 162. So kind of right before the stall on both of these. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap them up. This one is a little bit behind. So I'm thinking I'm gonna wrap this one up. But I kind of mentioned earlier that you can use like that hot spot back there where you get a lot of that kickback of airflow. You can use that hot spot to your advantage. So what I'm thinking is these are going to go in that hot spot now that they're wrapped up and protected. I'm going to slide these over, put these right here. See if we can catch them up because they are a little bit thicker. Now, make sure I show you this process right here. Basically, I just got a piece of foil. full, some people call it. Just throw them on there. Over. Over. And what I do is I kind of wrap my fingers around the edge here. And I wrap my thumb around, feeling those edges. And so then I kind of have a double wrap right there when I curl it up. Boom, just like that. And you saw I didn't put anything in the wrap. No need. No need to put anything in the wrap. And I've got a pretty tight seal right there, just like that. And then I can also still feel thick end right here, thinner end right here. These are going back on meat side down in the foil. And then we're gonna go until they feel tender. We can check them with a temp, but we can check with this thermometer. But it's really about how they feel when you pick them up right here in the middle. They should just pretty much want to bend over and give. So we'll come back and check maybe in like an hour and a half, 2 hours. All right, I think we are looking like it might be about time to pull them off. So basically, let me see if I can show you this in here. I want to show you a couple things that I see that means they're probably done. You can see right here, the bones are pulled back. We have a lot of liquid in here. I will show you with the thermometer, just so you can see that really quick. Basically, just instant read thermometer. 202, 203. Looking pretty good. Usually ribs, oh, that's super tender. So easy. Yeah. These are 100% done. And you can also pick them up in the middle. I've been kind of checking them by moving around the middle part of this foil. These are extremely hot. So I'm just going to move them. Ooh, that was close. Y'all see that? Caught them. Move that right there. And then I'll put another rack. This one back here was the one that we had that was a little bit thicker, taking a little bit longer. Let's check that one. I'll show you. Let's go right here. Thick part. 205. 205. 206. Super tender. So this one caught right up. And you can see all the liquid. All that is like some water, some fat that's rendered out of the backside of the ribs here, which, I had the membrane, I left it on. So just scored it. And then these are ready. Let's see if we can get them here without tearing the foil. Boom. We're just going to let these rest in the foil. I'm just going to let them come down to probably about 140, and then I'm going to put them in my grill, because I have a pellet grill that I can just put it down to like 165 and hold them. So if you have a warming cabinet, that'll work. If you have an oven that goes, just put it on its lowest setting. So let them come down to an internal temperature of like 140, and then you can just throw them in there and leave them until you're ready to eat. We are going to glaze them, so I'm going to let them come down, and then maybe like 30 minutes before I get ready to eat, we're going to put that sauce that we made all over them, tack it up, slice them up, they'll be ready to eat. All right, so we are going to tack these up with a little bit of that sauce that we made earlier. So I just put these on just a second ago just to kind of get the surface a little more dry. And what I'm going to want to do is put them in these little boats. This sauce has a lot of sugar. So try and put them in these boats and catch some of that sugar just so it doesn't burn down on the bottom of the grill. And just kind of roll them up like that. That'll do. That'll do. All right, let's get some of our sauce. Bring that over. We're going to do a couple layers, so I'm just going to pour a little bit on. Pour a little bit on. That's good. Just kind of get it covered best I can. Let it tack up. And we'll probably do this maybe 3 times or so. I think 3 will be good. Just about every 10 minutes I'm going to come out here. Maybe less than that. Maybe like 5 minutes. But I'll check back in with you guys when I get done setting this sauce, and then we'll slice in. All right, let's cut these ribs. So we've got, this is the same rack we seasoned up before. I did two racks. I just always cook two. If I'm going to cook one rack of ribs, might as well cook two and then have one, just save it and reheat it for later. All right, so I'm cutting from the backside. Sorry, it's not focused. There we go. You can kind of see in the corner there, I got a little apple crumble rub that I got from down at Millscale in Lockhart. They got this rub from these guys over in Sweden that you can it's like a little finishing rub. It's like an apple and maple finishing rub. So I cut these ribs up. Yeah, gave them a little taste. I think they could be spicier. I could go with a little more spice. So maybe in that sauce you might add a little more cayenne or something like that if you want. If you don't like them too spicy, then they would be just right. And then yeah, a little bit of that apple crumble on top. There you go. Let us know what you think and give it a try.